Hello, good day. My name is Japhet Maichabi. I'm also known as J. Blessed Child. I was born on the 28th of February 1989. I'm a warrior, I'm a Sickle Cell Warrior, a survivor and an advocate. I'm from Nasarawa State. I'm 31, to God's glory. And I'm from a family of 6, 4 boys, 2 females. I'm here to talk about my story surviving and battling with sickle cell.
The first thing we'd want to know is what is sickle cell disease itself. Basically, it's just a mutation in the hemoglobin gene of the red blood cells. There are some genes in the red blood cells that are supposed to code particular substrates, and then once there's this mutation in those genes, they code the different substrates. And with the sickle cell, the normal substrate that is meant to be coded is known as glutamine, but with sickle cell disease patients, they rather code valine. Now, what happens is this mutation in the red blood cell causes the red blood cell to lose its shape. The red blood cell has what we call a biconcave shape, and then once this mutation occurs, the red blood cell loses that biconcave shape because its integrity is basically lost. Now, the sickle cell disease itself has a lot of substrates. The common one we know here is what we call sickle cell anemia, where we have someone who is known as SS. We have other substrates like the beta thalassemias, and then other sickle cell traits such as SC and then SA.
So growing up, I got to I think at the age of 6 was when I really understood my life, because my parents told me, okay, you have a health condition, because I can't really remember how my first crisis struck, but I do remember a certain time that there was this strange feeling I had, this very strange feeling, like pain all over. It was a life of pain, joints, my head, my back. You know, you're crying, mommy, my leg, my back, my head, you know. It was really severe, I could clearly remember. But to God's glory, I survived gradually in and out of crisis. I was able to complete my primary school, but with a lot of in and out of hospital experiences. Down to secondary school, the same thing, on and off. Sometimes I'd miss school for like a month. Sometimes I'll come back to school like 2 weeks to exam. It's been a terrible experience, but at the same time, it's been amazing because sickle cell has actually really taught me to be strong, to see myself as someone who can give hope to others. So I was able to finish up secondary school. That was 2006 through 2007. I got to write JAMB. I passed, and I got admission to Federal University of Technology, Mina. I was way back 2728. I'd done everything. It was just remaining to just go back to school, and then crisis struck, serious crisis. I was down for like a month plus, so that was how I missed that admission. It was really terrible because I really wanted to finish school in time. It has always been my dreams to graduate from school in time. But sickle cell never gave me the opportunity.
For the first 6 months of and I'm saying this based on when the parents don't know their own genotype. Usually the first 6 months of life you might not know, because there's something called the fetal hemoglobin, which helps protect against the problems that occur with sickle cell patients. But after 6 months of life, that fetal hemoglobin starts depreciating. Now the sickle cell hemoglobin now becomes a bit more prominent, and then some of the symptoms that occur starts. Usually from 6 months up to about 3 years, most children present with pain in the hands and pain in the foot, known as dactylitis, or sometimes called hand-foot syndrome. Now, the other common presentations we know of is joint pains, general body pains, something they call jaundice, which is a yellow discoloration of the eyes. Some come with chest pain. Basically, anywhere these sickled blood cells find itself, anywhere it lodges, it can cause pain, and it causes pain by reducing blood flow to that particular part of the body.
So my experience generally, I'd say it's been a mixture of life of severe pain, life of undefined pains. At the other hand, life of joy, because I had amazing parents, and friends and family were really there for me. And there's something I really want to mention is to every warrior, sickle cell warrior watching this, I need you to really understand that sickle cell is not a death sentence. It is not. Okay, my mom and dad got married way back in the 70s. There was no science, there was no technology. So I don't blame anybody for my pain. I love me for who I am. I accept me for how God created me. And I've made it thus far because God had the reason for everything. I am 31 years, like I said, and it's been God's grace. So if I can make it to 31 with the severe complications, trust me, it is not a death sentence. So I see myself as a source of inspiration. I see myself as a source of hope. I see myself as a source of joy, despite what sickle cell has really done to me. I'm currently on crutches also due to complications battling sickle cell, and as you can see, my legs cannot really go straight down. It was all as a result of sickle cell complications. I'm still carrying a bandage. It is severe, yeah, but we survive. We are sickle strong. And one thing I would really want to say is I thank God for a lovely mother who has always been there for me. They really tried to see that I made it thus far. Sickle cell as a whole is a life of trauma. It's a nightmare. A crisis episode is like having a sledgehammer, being hit over and over on several parts of your body. Like it aches so bad that you cannot express it. I call it undefined pains because it is really severe. When I say pain, I mean excruciating pain. I had a hip replacement surgery in 2016, June. Hip replacement surgery due to a vascular necrosis of the left hip. AVN is one of the most severe complications sickle cell warriors suffer. It is as a result of a shortage of blood supply and oxygen to a particular area of the body. So mine happened at the hip, but it's always common with sickle cell warriors. It is one of the most severe. We have the AVN and leg ulcer, which is the one I'm also battling right now. I have 2 of them on both of my legs, and my knee is bad. My hip is currently bad also. I'm managing on crutches. So I really survived a lot. I really survived a lot, and I'm grateful to God Almighty that He kept me to this point. So life right now, I'd say it's fine. It's not fine because trust me, I am tired of the pain. I'm tired of the pain.
How will you manage, or how do you treat somebody who is known to be a sickler who's having this bone crisis. The only thing is you have to get this person to a health facility. There are different causes of this crisis, or why somebody who is a sickle cell disease patient will have pain and then other issues. One of the commonest one is infection. Other things like dehydration, extremes of weather, especially very cold weather, even emotional, psychological stress can trigger crisis. Pregnancy can also trigger a crisis. So once you know what the triggers are, then you know how to prevent these triggers. Usually the hallmark of treatment whenever I go to any health facility is pain relief as much as possible, try and rehydrate these patients as much as possible, oxygen support and the rest of it.
One thing I want to mention about this is, as a sickle cell warrior, I want you to always remember 5 words. It's an activism I came up with. Don't you ever give up. 5 words. Don't you ever give up. No matter what it is, no matter what life throws at you, you know that you have a purpose. Know that sickle cell cannot take you unless you let it. You have to fight. You have to be strong, because God, who put you in that position and allowed you to survive to that very moment, has a purpose for you. So do not see sickle cell as a death sentence. I am living fine. I love to see myself as an inspiration. I know of warriors who slide into my DM to say, hey, you're an encouragement, and that gives me a lot of joy. It gives me a lot of hope, and I'm really, really grateful to God for that. At the early age of 10, I was cautious of my ailment. Life was full of fear. I was living for the moment. Life was full of torment, but I kept going. Believing in Sanctity Tweed kept me going. Got into school. I was one amongst the best. 4 years course was taking like forever. Steady crisis, steady hospital appointments, patronizing pains like a loyal customer. Life so rich in health is wealth. Listen as I preach, I got stories to tell. In and out of surgeries, it was success through hell. Mama used to tell the youth, know your genotype. Love isn't worth it when your kids have to pay the price. There's no room for regrets. Just make the right choice. 5 words. Don't you ever give up. Forever staying strong, and I'm sure I'll find my way up. I never thought I'd make it through this pain like this. Many times I cried and I wiped my tears alone. Cause I'm a blessed child. Yeah, I'm a blessed child.